Alright, we are headed out somewhere where I can let these doggies run around, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a peek into my camera bag so you can kind of see what I tote around with me, and then hopefully these two can burn off some steam along the way. So I hope you'll come with us. Okay, so I thought we could dive into my bag and you can check it out. You'll probably see a few crazies running around behind me because I've got them out here to burn off energy. So first thing I'll show you is my bag. So I have this bag here. It is by Kelly Moore. It's a little bit of a nicer bag that I use for travel just because I like it because it's cute. But I also have just a standard Canon bag that I use a lot in the boat because it's just a little bit smaller, more compact. And then we recently just purchased a used, I think it's called a Pelican. So it's much bigger, we can fit everything in it. So that's one of our options there. So I'll dive right in and I'll show you some things. My camera body that I use is a Canon, and it's Canon 5D Mark III. So I purchased this probably 4 years ago after upgrading from the T2i. T2i is a crop sensor, and so this one's a full frame, so I'm able to get more for my money essentially. The lens that I have attached to it is one of the Canon L series. It's a 24mm f1.4. So I probably have this one attached the majority of the time. I use it for almost everything. It's a little bit of, it's a wide angle, so I'm able to just get a little bit more when I'm close up to things. The other lens that I tend to have in my bag is my 85mm 1.8. So the main difference between these two, and the way I like to describe them, is when I'm taking photos, I like to tell a story with the photos, and so I feel like these do a little bit different things. So the 24mm, which is the wide angle, tells more of a story of place, since it gives me a little bit bigger view. And then the 85mm tells a little bit more of the story of person. So it really depends on what I want my subject of my imagery to be, but most of the time in my scenarios I'm using the 24mm. Just because I'm typically close up to my subjects, and so I want to get a little bit more of a surrounding without having to pull back, because they are fixed to zoom, so I'm not able to zoom in and zoom out. My legs are literally the zoom in and the zoom out. So those are kind of my main reasons that I use these two. There's so many other lenses you can pick from, but these two have just become my two favorites. So I'll pop in an example of the 24mm here so you can kind of see an image I've taken with the 24mm. And then I'll pop in an image here of something that I've taken with the 85mm. So you can really get the difference between place and the difference between the subject. So you can really see how those two mesh together. So some of the other things that I keep in my bag are, I have the standard camera strap that came with it that I use probably the majority of the time, but my husband just bought me one of these new black Rapid camera straps, and it goes crossbody and it keeps my camera more towards my side, and then I can pull it up when I need it. The problem I have with the standard Canon one is that anytime I bend over it swings back and forth, and so this one kind of prevents that. So I use this one in certain scenarios where it makes sense. It just screws to the bottom of my camera here, and so I can just put it into the bottom, and then I'm able to strap it on from there. Let's see here. I have, when I use my big camera for video, I have this right here that I use as my microphone, and then it has this windbreak over the top for if it's windy, and so I use that quite a bit as well. I also have this mini microphone. You can't see it now because it's attached to my phone. I have a mini microphone that I use on my phone that also has a windbreak on it, because I use my phone for my videos. I find that it's much easier, simpler, and it just makes more sense overall, for me anyways. I have a handful of batteries because I always forget them, so there's always a ton of batteries in here, battery chargers, Berkeley for Benny. And there's always random things like, I have my SD cards in here. I will put a link down here to where you can find all of these items and the exact model numbers of the items that I have, so you can see that. I have a wireless remote that I use because a lot of the imagery I take of myself is taken with a remote, if I can find it here. So it just looks like this, and I just put my camera on remote, and then I'm able to use this remote to take those images. And then the other thing that I have here, where's Berkeley? Berkeley! 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 There he is. Oh my god, he just freaking came out of that thing. Jesus. Were you inside the drain, buddy? Don't do that anymore. Okay, so then the other thing I have for my phone is, honestly, your phone is a good camera these days. And so I purchased, I think it's pronounced Oleoclip or Oloclip. I don't really know, but I will link it. It clips to your phone right in here, and you can turn it either side, but it's a lens, and there's a different lens on both sides. So I have one that's a macro and a wide angle, I believe. So I can do things with this with my phone, because oftentimes my phone is what's with me, so I'm going to use it. I'm a huge proponent in believing that you use what's with you. I almost always have my big camera with me, but sometimes I just want the thing that's in my pocket, which is always my phone. And good imagery comes from the person, not necessarily the thing that you use to get there. So just feel confident. And I've started on my photography website a 7-part series to help people take better images with their phone, and so I will link that below as well so that you can find that. You should get signed up so that you can get those weekly messages. The other thing I have is a tripod, which I also can't show you because it's what I'm using right now, and attached to the top of the tripod I have what I think is called a gorilla pod, I think that's the name of it. It's essentially this really bendable tripod that I use for my phone so that I'm able to attach it to tree branches, to whatever I'm around. And so I'm able to use it that way. A lot of the stuff I do is by myself, so I have had to get used to finding technology that I can use on my own. Berkeley! Oh my god, he keeps going in there. Do you see him? It's like right there. Oh my god, he's so crazy. Let's see here. Anything else? Oh, did I mention this? I have a selfie stick. I think I purchased it for like $5 in a Target dollar bin. It's already kind of broken, but I've had it for a few years and it still kind of works. It's no big deal. But anyways, that's kind of what I use. I will link everything so that you can see. But I just wanted to show you my main pieces and the items, and then you can kind of go check them out from there. So let's go on a little bit of an adventure because my dogs are crazy, and the tiny one keeps going down that there's like a little drain pipe over there. I don't know. So we'll go check out what he's doing.